Hi there, my name is Hassel and today I'm going to show you exactly how to use Trello for project management. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete system that'll help you stay organized and actually get things done. And what I love about Trello is that it strikes the perfect balance between being simple enough for beginners, but powerful enough for complex projects. So in this tutorial, we're going to build a complete project management system from scratch. I'll show you how to set up your boards, organize your tasks, collaborate with team members, and use all the advanced features that'll make you look like a professional. So let's dive right in. First things first, we need to get you set up with a Trello account. So go ahead and open up your browser and head over to Trello.com. Once you're there, you'll see a big blue button that says Get Trello for free in the top right corner. So go ahead and click on that. Now you can sign up using your email, or if you want to make things easier, you can just continue with Google, Microsoft, or Apple. I usually recommend just using Google since most people already have a Google account, so I'll click on Continue with Google here, and then I'll choose my Google account. Perfect. Now Trello is going to ask you a few questions about how you plan to use it. You can answer these if you want, but honestly, you can just skip through them by clicking Skip at the bottom. These questions just help Trello customize your experience, but we're going to set everything up manually anyway. Trello will start your account as a free premium account for 14 days. This is fine, and usually we can continue using the free account after these 14 days. I also still use the free plan after 6 years of using Trello. Think of it like this. We have workspaces right here. Inside the workspaces we have boards right here. Then inside the boards we have lists. And inside the lists we can put cards. So a workspace is like your main container. If you're working for a company, you might have one workspace for that company. Then within that workspace, you'll have different boards for different projects. Each board has lists, which are basically your columns, and then each list contains cards, which are your individual tasks. It's kind of like having a physical board with sticky notes, except it's digital and way more powerful. Now let's create our first project management board. Click on the Trello logo at the top left first. You'll see here in your workspace there's a button that says Create New Board. Go ahead and click on that. First, we need to give our board a name. I'm going to call this one Website Redesign Project, but you can name yours whatever project you're actually working on. Maybe it's marketing campaign, or product launch, or even just personal tasks. Now we can choose a background for our board. You can pick one of these default colors, or if you click on photos, you can choose from some really nice stock photos. I personally like to keep things simple, so I'm gonna go with this blue background right here. For visibility, I'm going to keep this set to workspace, which means anyone in my workspace can see it. If you're working on something private, you can change this to private. Then let's click create. And there we go, we now got our first project management board. Alright, so now we have this blank board, and this is where we set up our workflow. By default, Trello sometimes creates a few lists for you, but let's build this from scratch so you understand exactly what's happening. The most basic project management workflow has 3 stages. Things you need to do, things you're currently working on, and things you've completed. So let's create these lists. I'll click on Add a List here on the left, and I'm going to name this first one To Do. Then I'll press Enter, and now I'll add another list called In Progress. And finally, I'll add one more called Done. Now here's the key concept with Trello. You're going to move your tasks from left to right as you work on them. So everything starts in To Do, moves to In Progress when you start working on it, and ends up in Done when it's complete. Now depending on your project, you might want to customize these lists a bit. For example, maybe you want to add a backlog list at the very beginning for ideas that aren't ready to be worked on yet. Or maybe you want a review list between In Progress and Done for tasks that need approval first. Let me show you how to add another list. I'll click Add List and call this one Backlog. Now I want to move this to the very beginning, so I'll just click and drag it all the way to the left. Perfect. You can also rename lists at any time by just clicking on the list title and typing a new name. And if you want to delete a list, you can click on the 3 dots next to the list name and select Archive this list. Now let's add some actual tasks to our board. These are called cards in Trello, and each card represents one task or deliverable. Let's start by adding some cards to our backlog list. I'll click Add a Card under the backlog list, and I'll type Research Competitor Websites. Then I'll press Enter, and I can immediately add another card. I will do some tasks I should do in the cards. I'll add Create Wireframes, Design Homepage Mockup, and write website copy. Now I can drag these cards around to reorder them. Maybe I want create wireframes to be at the top since that needs to happen first. I'll just click and drag it up. And here's the main feature of Trello. I can also drag cards between lists. So when I'm ready to start working on research competitor websites, I'll drag it from backlog to to-do. And when I actually start working on it, I'll drag it to in progress. Now, just having a card that says research competitor websites isn't super helpful by itself. We need to add more details. So let me click on that card to open it up. And look at these options. This is where Trello really shines. First, let's add a description. I'll click in the description area and type something like research 5 main competitors and document their design patterns, user experience, and key features. Focus on homepage layout and navigation structure. Now when I click save, that information is stored with this card. Anyone on my team can click on this card and immediately understand what needs to be done. But we can make this even better by breaking this task down into smaller steps. I'll click on checklist on the right side here. I can name this checklist research steps and then click on add. Now I can add individual checklist items like identify top 5 competitors, screenshot their home pages, document navigation patterns, and create summary report. What's awesome about this is that as I complete each step, I can check it off. And Trello will show my progress right on the front of the card. So if I check off 2 out of 4 items, it'll show 2 out of 4 on the card as well. Now, if this task has a deadline, I definitely want to add that. I'll click on dates here on the right side. Let's say this needs to be done by next Friday, so I'll click on that date. I can also set a specific time if needed. And here's a pro tip. I always set a reminder, which is also a feature of Trello. I'll choose one day before, so Trello will remind me the day before it's due. This has saved me so many times from missing deadlines. When I click save, you'll see the due date appears right on the card. And if the due date is coming up soon, Trello will highlight it in yellow or red to grab your attention. Next, if you're working with a team, you can assign specific people to cards. I'll click on members here on the right side. Now I don't have any team members added to this board yet, but if I did, I could assign them to this task. To add team members to your board, you'd go up to the top right where it says share and then invite people by email. Once they're added to the board, you can assign them to specific cards. Now let's talk about labels inside cards, which are one of my favorite features in Trello. Labels help you categorize and prioritize your tasks visually. Let me click on labels here on the right side. By default, Trello gives you these colored labels, but they don't have names. Let's fix that. I'll click on the red label and name it high priority. Then I'll click on the yellow label and call it medium priority, and the green label will be low priority. Now I can click on high priority to add it to this card. Now this card has a red label that immediately tells me and my team that this is a high priority task. You can also use labels to categorize different types of work. Let me create a few more labels. I'll click on the blue label and call it design work. The purple label can be development, and the orange label can be content. This way, I can quickly see what type of work each card represents just by looking at the colors. Another way to use labels is to represent different team members or departments. So you might have a label for marketing team, design team, development team, and so on. This makes it really easy to filter and see what each team is responsible for. To see all your labels at once, you can click on a label on any card, and it'll expand to show the full name. Then click it again to collapse it back to just the color. Now let's say you have files related to this task. Maybe some reference images, documents, or spreadsheets. You can attach them directly to the card. I'll click on attachment here on the right side. You can upload files from your computer, or you can connect to Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, or other cloud services. This is super handy because it keeps all your project files organized with the relevant tasks. If I upload an image, for example this thumbnail right here, Trello can even use it as the card cover, which makes your board more visual and easier to scan. The comment section at the right is perfect for team communication. Instead of having conversations scattered across email or Slack, you can keep all the discussion about a specific task right here with the task itself. I can type a comment like, "Hey team, I found some great examples on the Airbnb website that we should consider." And if I want to notify a specific team member, I can type at and their name to mention them. This way, they will get a notification. Now, once you have a lot of completed tasks in your done column, it might start to get cluttered. That's where archiving comes in handy. You can click on a completed card, then click archive to remove it from the board while still keeping it searchable. Or if you want to archive all the cards in your done list at once, you can click on the three dots next to the list name and select archive all cards in this list. Alright, let's talk about team collaboration, because this is where Trello is really good as well. To invite team members to your board, click on Share in the top right corner. You can invite people by email address and they'll get an invitation to join your board. You can also control what level of access they have. You can make them observers who can only view the board or full members who can edit everything. And once you have team members on your board, you'll want to stay updated on what's happening. Trello has a great notification system. You can click on the bell icon in the top right to see all your notifications. You'll get notified when someone assigns you to a card, when due dates are approaching, when someone comments on a card you're watching, and more. You can also customize these notification settings in your account preferences. As your board gets more complex, you might want to filter it to focus on specific things. Click on Filter in the top right corner and you can filter by labels, members, or due dates. For example, if I only want to see high priority tasks, I can click on the high priority label filter, or if I want to see everything assigned to me, I can filter by my name. This is incredibly useful for staying focused on what matters most. Now you're probably going to have multiple projects running at the same time. The best practice is to create a separate board for each major project. You can easily switch between boards using the Boards menu at the top. I usually recommend keeping your boards focused and not trying to manage too many different types of work on the same board. It's better to have several focus boards than one chaotic board with everything mixed together. Let's quickly talk about power-ups as well, which are additional features you can add to your boards. One of my favorites is the calendar view. Click on power-ups in the top right corner, then click add power-ups. Search for calendar and add the calendar power-up. Now you'll see a calendar icon appear in your toolbar. Click on it and now you can see all your cards with due dates laid out on a calendar. This is perfect for deadline management and planning. There are tons of other useful power-ups. The Custom Fields power-up lets you add additional information fields to your cards. The Voting power-up lets team members vote on ideas. And there are integrations with tools like Google Drive, Slack, and GitHub. Most of these power-ups are free and they can really extend what you can do with Trello. If you find yourself creating similar projects over and over, you can create board templates. Just set up a board exactly how you like it, then go to the Board menu and select Copy Board. You can use this as a template for future projects. You can also create card templates for recurring tasks. This saves a ton of time when you're setting up new projects. Now here's where most people mess up with project management tools. They set everything up perfectly and then never maintain it. I have a rule that if a card sits in the same list for more than 2 weeks without any activity, I either move it, archive it, or delete it. Stale cards just create visual clutter and make it harder to focus on what actually matters. If this tutorial helped you get organized and feel more in control of your projects, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up. It helps other people find this content and it lets me know that these tutorials are actually useful. So thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.